If your team got guaranteed money, tell them call me.
Whoop. Make me say, my. I done been around the world.
Yeah, I was made for this.
Player Performance with J.A. Cavalier.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to MLB Player Performance on this Sunday. It is Sunday, July 20th, 2025. The morning show, the Shark and the Gun. It is the first Sunday of the second half of the season. We've been waiting for this all year, I swear. Finally, data. The Gun was on here yesterday, dropping 45-plus minutes solo. We were talking about what kind of coffee is this guy drinking. You guys are drinking coffee this Sunday morning. 8 Pacific, get out of bed, join us. Of course, 11 Eastern. Gunz, what's going on, brother?
Yeah, I'm just drinking nightmare fuel to keep me motivated to do solo shows. But we are back, the Shark and the Gun. I can actually pass the ball around a little bit with my man Shark now that he's back and his power is back on. But we have a very elite slate. Not the best day in the world for me. I will be very transparent on this one. But like I said, 6 out of the last 8 days, we've cashed tickets. And, of course, we hit our max bet with Milwaukee money line. I gave you a dog as my max bet. That's how ballsy I am. But I digress. We're on to the next card. We're on to the next day. And, Shark, let's break down the Sunday slate.
Absolutely. We got a big card today. We're starting at noon. We go all the way to 7 o'clock. It is an opportunity to dominate. The morning show, MLB Player Performance on a Sunday, starts now.
I live the bright lights, the type, the crowd lights, where you at, ballers? Ladies love me and men, they want a penny, they pay to come see me, where you at, ballers?
Sundays are for the Sharps. I love saying that, and we will be getting into football in a month and a half, but we are talking baseball, and we are going north of the border. First game on the card, Giants, Blue Jays, Game 3 Interleague. Pitchers duel in the making, perhaps. Robbie Ray at Jose Barrios. Tough game. It seems like every single time we open up these Sunday shows with an early game, Gunz and I both agree, not the best game. Part of it is because it's so early. It's hard to handicap. You got Robbie Ray, Pacific time, probably integrated. They've been out here for a little while. Neither pitcher really giving us a ton of access. The Giants have lost 4 consecutive games. Robbie Ray is their ace. I would lean towards the Giants, but Gunz, any thoughts?
I got a couple notes on this one. Of course, I'm not going to have an official play on this one side or total because I think the pitching matchup, you have 2 strong pitchers that their teams have performed well around. You have Robbie Ray. If you look at his road starts, last 9, San Francisco 7-2 in those positions. Now, Jose Barrios, as Shark would say, make sure he has the affect when he says it. Toronto has performed very well when he's been on the bump, 7-2 in his last 9 starts, including 4 straight home wins. He's also done well versus the NL, 3-1 straight up in those positions as well. So I don't know what's going to happen in this game because you have 2 strong pitchers going up against each other. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy. And of course, it's an early game. Maybe not just bet this one. Let's relax and get to the 1 o'clock slate, and at least from the Eastern Standard Time standpoint. But I don't have a play on this game.
Yeah, as I said, if we're going to go with a big parlay at the end of the show, we probably will, as we have a ton of data here. Just to jump off point, we're going to really crush the second half. Gunz has been on a great run. I'm 5-3 since we opened up the second half privately in VIP. This is where we get great data. And the data within this game is fairly ambiguous. Obviously, these teams rarely ever play. It's interleague, it's Pacific Coast, it's Canada, it's all over the place. But Jose Barrios is actually 2-0 this year at home versus the National League. Key point, both as a favorite. So first time he's opened as an underdog. Market Steam actually does have this coming across towards Toronto. Syndicates can do whatever they want. There's a lot of moving parts. I would lean towards San Francisco. We see some of our guys in the chat talking ball here. Stephen Hairston says, I think this is the one the Giants get, and I lean the under. Stephen, you've been my guy for years. I think you're onto something here. Let's dominate. Next game on the card, 12-10 at George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa. Tampa versus Baltimore, Game 3 of this series. Never thought I'd be saying that. We got a hurricane down here in Florida last fall. All of a sudden, there's no trop. They're playing in a minor league park. You get Pepio versus Rogers. A lot of data here. Pepio has faced the Orioles already twice this year. Last time he did face the Orioles at Camden Yards on Friday, June 27th. Baltimore 22-8. Was that Ravens Bucks, or was that Rays versus Orioles? Gunz, this game really is not giving me a whole lot. It's a tight line. Both teams are competitive. Baltimore is a buy low. Trevor Rogers, not a lot of matchup data. Any thoughts?
Sounds like there was a 2-point conversion somewhere in those makings if it's 22 points. But when you talk about this game, you have Trevor Rogers. He's on the mound. And really, Baltimore's performed well while he's on the mound. 6 starts this season, 4-2 straight up when he's on the bump. He's also 2-1 as a dog, which he's a dog here. Under has been very strong in Rogers' starts as well, 4-2 to the under in those positions. And, of course, Rogers has faced Tampa as well on June 18th. Similar road line, by the way, lost that game. But Pipio kind of not playing well in his last 4 starts. He's 1-3 straight up, but at home, he's really performed very well. The problem is in that 1-4, a lot of road matchups, right? So he's won 5 straight at home on the bump. He's faced Baltimore twice this season. He's 1-1 straight up. But the line structure is what alarms me on this one, because he's been minus money every single time, but he's higher minus money in this similar situation. I think the reason why is he's been very good at home. Like I said, 5 straight home wins when he's on the bump. And I think we're going to see something similar here. So if I'm going to play this one, I'm going to be taking Tampa. And the only way I'm going to take it is Tampa full game. That's how I play this game. Tampa money line as the play.
Yeah, you're talking about Pepio here being 5-0 last 5 at this minor league stadium. I think that is noteworthy. Obviously, the sight lines are different. It's not really a huge crowd. So it doesn't really have the major league element to the game. Very similar to what we said about the Athletics in Sacramento all year. So when he's performing well in this stadium, it is very noteworthy. There's a lot of streaks going on today on today's card in terms of teams on winning streaks or losing streaks. There's also pitchers with noticeable polarization. Alongside that 5-0 last 5 at home, he's actually 0-7 last 7 on the road. So you really talk about a completely polarized pitcher. And you mentioned that game with Trevor Rogers. I was saying 22-8 Baltimore with Pepio involved. You talk about that. 12-8 Tampa. Baltimore was up 8-0 in that game. So the moral of the story is when these pitchers get involved and these teams get involved, one word, chaos. This game is going to be all over the place. I have no angle. Gunz leaning towards Tampa, but better games await, and let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, 135, Interleague Baseball in Philadelphia, Citizens Bank Park. Ranger Suarez, Phillies. Jose Soriano, Angels. This game has access. This is yet again very distinct polarization in pitchers. Jose Soriano is a road pitcher, not a home pitcher. 6-3 straight up on the road. Actually, 0 earned runs this year at National League opponents. I got some notes on this. Guys, you got any thoughts? I think I might get to an official as we talk about it.
I think we're going to see less runs that we've seen from the previous 2 matchups. It's got to, the levy's got to break eventually, and I think the books are kind of adjusting to it, how they're marking this total. When you look actually these 2 matchups, you have Jose Soriano. Soriano, very good on the road, 4-1 straight up, and he's 4-1 to the under in his last 5 road starts. Not great versus the NL, though, if we're talking about just straight up 1-5 in those spots. He's also 1-3 as a dog, a plus 150 or more. Very high line structure here for Suarez. He's 4-2 straight up in his last 6 starts, but he's 6-0 to the under. Philly is also 2-1 straight up and 3-0 to the under in his starts versus AL teams. So, like I said, you're seeing totals that were like 9.5. Early in the series. Those sailed over in both of those spots, but I think this is going to be more of a low-scoring affair. Not an official play for me, but if I had to lean one way or the other, I'm going to play the total, and I'm going to take the under. Full game in this situation.
Yeah, as I said, I think this is an Angels spot today. Obviously, this is game 3 of the series. Angels have played the Philadelphia pretty tight in the previous 2 games. Our guy H-Town says, fuck the Phillies. They're a bunch of bums. Well, Schwarber said F that with a grand slam yesterday late to get to 9-5 and a margin victory. But key point, the game was tight. And I think you're going to see a tight game here. So I'll give you guys my top free play of the card. We're taking plus 1.5 at minus 137. And something that we talked about before we went into the All-Star break last Sunday, which, of course, we're going to talk about now coming out of the All-Star break. Certain guys just don't perform well before vacation and coming back. I think that's who Ranger Suarez is. Actually, in the opener of this campaign, a home game out of the division against Arizona, he had his worst start of the year, 7 earned runs versus Eddie Rodriguez. 11-9 Arizona outright victory. And Gunz, just on that total, I do think a little anecdotal maybe, but the line at 9 is very high for a Suarez game. I think you might see more clustered runs here as he comes back off the break. Very noteworthy stuff here. As I said, Soriano is 6-3 straight up on the road. That's not +1.5. That's the money line. He actually functions great as a significant dog in this spot. Suarez is 4-2 at home at the bank, 0-2 at home on Sunday. And that game, the opener, was actually a weekend game. Both home losses on Sunday, same line structure, -160 versus Arizona, -180, 5-2 loss against Milwaukee. This is going to be a tight game. Take +1.5. And let's cash. Next game on the card, also 135. More interleague baseball as we open up the second half of the season. Pirates, White Sox in Pittsburgh, PNC Park. Aaron Savale, recent acquisition for the White Sox. Andrew Haney, recent acquisition, relatively speaking, for Pittsburgh. Feels like both these pitchers can't sit still. They got a new team every season. That leads me to the one word that I love to use when we talk these games: ambiguity. I have no idea. Gunz, yesterday you tried to get to Pittsburgh. The White Sox said, Pittsburgh, how about 10-4? I mean, this is a joke of a game. Do you have anything in this one?
Yeah, I didn't put it on my VIP card. Of course, just gave it away as a free play. Thinking when I saw that line structure against Hauser, I just felt like it was too strong towards the Pittsburgh side. Not a VIP play, but I thought it was good enough to give out there to the people for free. However, we have a different situation here with these two pitchers. Of course, Savali. The White Sox have not performed well when he's been the start of this season. They're 0-6 straight up in those situations. However, very low scoring in every single one of those starts, 5-1 to the under. Andrew Heaney, same type of situation. Pittsburgh has not shown up for him either. 1-4 straight up in his last 5 starts. 3-2 straight up and 5-0 to the under when Heaney is at home. So I think we're going to be seeing a little bit of a pitcher's duel here in Pittsburgh. Also, 4th time this season that Heaney's been minus money this season, and in those spots, the first 3-0 to the under. So I think we're going to be looking at a low-scoring affair here in Pittsburgh. So if I'm going to take this one, I'm going to be looking at the under. Give me Chicago White Sox, Pittsburgh under the total, and I think we can get it at 9 right now, and that's the way I'd play it.
Yeah, honestly, I think that is unquestionably the best look in this game. I do recall Haney in a matinee earlier this year. It was like a 1-0 finish or something like that. And I do think just the reversal coming off a 10-4, a totally bloated final, will lean towards an under. I have nothing, but I do think that's a sharp take. If you guys want to play this game, take the under per the gun, and let's cash. Next game, also 135. More interleague baseball. Yankees Braves game 3 at Truist Park. You saw the All-Star game midweek in this stadium. You saw the home run derby, and then you saw the home run derby to figure out the All-Star game. And then what did you see last night? Home run derby part 3, 12-9 Yankees. Trent Grisham, 2-out grand slam in the 9th. Can't say I was remotely enthused. We had the Braves in VIP yesterday. Braves were up significantly in the game, 7-2, gave it all the way back, culminating in a grand slam. Really disheartening stuff. But I do think staying the course of action here and taking the Braves today with Grant Holmes at home is a very intelligent take. Gunz, I know you're not a Yankee fan at all. This is definitely not a shade play or a bias play. Braves are a buy team. What do you think?
I mean, I'm watching this total like climb through the rafters. It's getting up to 10.5. When I originally wrote this up, it was 9.5. And I think we're going to be seeing some runs in here because Stroman's on the mound. And when Stroman's on the mound, there are runs scored, whether it's given away by him or by this New York Yankees offense. 6-0 to the over in his starts. Highest total of the year for Stroman, by the way. And you got Grant Holmes. Now, Grant Holmes, when he's on the mound, been an under pitcher, 10-2 to the under in his home starts, but this is the highest total he's seen all year at home. Over is also hit in 5 straight Atlanta games. And of course, if you look at the Yankees historically, especially in their last 16 games, very much an over team, consistently 14-2 in their last 16. The over has cashed. And I think we're going to be seeing a similar thing here with two pitchers that I think are susceptible of giving up runs and we're going to see a high-scoring game here. So if I'm going to be taking this one, I'm seeing 10.5 on the board. Go grab it now. Go find a 10 somewhere if it still exists. The only way I'd play this one is over the total. That's how I play it.
Yeah, I mean, some of these games, we said it with Ranger Suarez, same thing here. Marcus Stroman, obviously, historically, has been a very good pitcher. He's a little bit older now. He's a very small guy. And that's, again, no shade. It's just a fact. But I think he labors in the heat. I think he's just not – he doesn't have that big Roger Clemens-style horse body to fight through the heat. I was talking about some streaks and all this stuff, a couple minutes ago. Same thing applies to Grant Holmes. Grant Holmes is actually 0-5 last 5 at home. Almost all excruciating losses. And that's the same exact conversation with the Braves. The Braves currently sitting here 11 under 500. I just said it. Excruciating loss last night. Did win on Friday. The Braves in the futures market preseason were projected to win 93.5 games. That was number 2 overall behind the Dodgers. Schwellenbach's been hurt. Sale's been hurt. Strider's been hurt. This guy, Grant Holmes, at home has had double-digit Ks multiple times. He's actually elite at Truist Park. This is where you want to buy him. And just a final point on Marcus Stroman, only really notable spot that correlates to this was at this division. He pitched at the Mets on Friday, July 4th. It was an earlier start. Very similar line structure. The Mets were laying real small, -115, with truly a guy I'm not familiar with the Mets, Hagenman. You guys in the chat could give me some information on that. I have no idea who that is. But nonetheless, the Mets did win the game 6-5. So there's your over, Guns, and there's our win for the Braves. Braves are the top look in this game. Take the Braves, and let's keep it moving. Also at 135, Padres Nationals in the D.C. metro area. Nick Pivetta, Mackenzie Gore, ace 1 and ace 2. This is the second time these pitchers have faced off in recent history. 1-0 Padres in San Diego. Pivetta doing what he does, really looking elite in his early 30s here, Canadian product. Mackenzie Gore is just a great pitcher on a bad team. We talk about this with Paul Skeens every time he takes the bump. He's going to pitch great, and they figure out a way to lose. I kind of suspect that's the same thing today with Gore. Guns, any thoughts?
Yeah, I have a lean towards the over in this game just because these pitchers have already faced each other's teams, and the line structure is what kind of tipped me off of probably this is going to be another high-scoring game. But when you look at Pivetta, he's 4-2 straight up in his last 6 starts. Faced Washington back on June 25th at home. The line was 7. Now you're seeing the total here at 8. That's 1 run higher since the last time he has faced Washington. 62 straight up in Pavetta's road starts, and he's 4-1 to the over in his last 5 road starts. So he is an over pitcher when he's on the road. Then you got Mackenzie Gore. Mackenzie Gore, 4-2 to the over in his last 6 starts, and he faced Pivetta back on June 25th. So you already have these 2 pitchers that have already gone against each other, right? Problem is, the only difference is the total. The total was 7 last time these guys went against each other. Now you're seeing an 8. So I think if there's going to be a way to play this one, we're going to be taking a lot of runs here, and the weather is beautiful here in the DMV today. I think we're going to see the ball sailing out of the park in Nats Park. I think we're going to see a lot of runs. Give me the over. Only way I would play this game.
Yeah, I just typed in the chat. If you're having a great cup of coffee, type coffee. Let's get people in the chat that have never commented. We want to see who's talking, who's hanging out with us. This game, as I said, really kind of just a tough cat for me. Just one corollary point. Game played against the Dodgers at home for Mackenzie Gore back in early April. Did finish 6-4. There's your over. Be careful of the under. It's a bit of a recency bias under. When you see 1-0 and they do move the line up slightly, Gunz giving sharp commentary here. I have nothing on this game, but be careful of just thinking the exact same game is going to repeat. These pitchers could give up runs. And I think even more importantly, if they labor in this heat at an early time, you get bullpens. And a lot of these games, all of a sudden, a 2-1 game in the 7th quickly becomes 6-5 with the bullpen. So just be careful. Gunz giving you sharp commentary, and we will keep it moving. Next game on the card, Mets Reds in Queens. Game 3 of this series. Mets trying to avoid a sweep. Cincinnati hot, obviously well coached. Terry Francona campaign 1. I think this has to lean towards the Mets today. We're talking about all these streaks and all these environments. Look no further than David Peterson. David Peterson is 1-8 on the road He is 9-0 at home. It doesn't get any more transparent and polarized than that. Andrew Abbott went to the All-Star game. He's shown signs on the road of being a total ace. Complete game shutout at Cleveland earlier this year. Some of his worst environments have come in early times outside of the division at the NL East. Got away with murder in a win at Philadelphia right before the All-Star break. Abbott has been inflated all year. One of our guys, Travis, said, "Where's Luke?" Well, Luke and I have had a lot of conversations recently about fading Abbott. He's just unsustainable. He's not overpowering. He needs to be spotting his pitches. I think the Mets get off the schneid today in Queens. Gunz, any thoughts?
I just want to say something to Jerry. Jerry, if you like Nerfies, you must love pulling slots. All right, so this isn't the Nerfie show. You can go take that stuff over to Book It with Trent or something like that, because I don't play the Nerfies. I play the full games. I play the first fives, and we will never, ever give you a Nerfie play on this show. Let's talk about the game, though. We are on right now with Cincinnati and the Mets. Andrew Abbott's just been an absolute stud for the Reds this year. 8-2 straight up in his last 10 starts, 4-1 to the over in his last 5 starts, and also Cincinnati is 6-1 straight up in Abbott's road starts. And I think what is intriguing is when he's on the road, it's low scoring, 4-1 to the over in last 5 road starts when Abbott is on the bump. Now, Peterson really, not the best pitcher, especially in his last 5 starts, 1-4 in those positions. However, he's done very well versus the NL Central. He's 3-1 straight up. And you're looking at a very high, strong line here for Peterson, which is kind of alarming, knowing that he's only won 1 out of his last 5. So looking at this position, though, and you kind of break it down, he's 5-1 straight up, and he's 5-1 to the under when he is a favorite of -150 or more, which you're seeing here. I think this is going to be a New York Mets trying to avoid the sweep type of situation here. I'm not taking a side because the line is a little bit too juicy. The only way to play it is to take the Mets side. Unfortunately, I hate the Mets, hate betting the Mets, but I like to play the total on this one. I think it's going to be a low-scoring affair here with Abbott, who could pitch well on the road, and you have Peterson that kind of performs well in this line structure on the money line. So give me the under is the only way I'd play this one with Cincinnati and the New York Metropolitans.
Yeah, just one comment on Nerfies. And Gunz and I, as we've said numerous times, been doing shows and content for 5+ years. Well, going back on X about 3 or 4 years ago, I think Gunz was about to go to jail over a Nerfie debate because the man is passionate about his
people
Nerfies.
Hate my takes on Nerfies. And I'm looking at Palmero goes, Luke does Nerfies too. Then go to Luke. I'm not trying to knock anybody's cap. If you're a Nerfie guy, fucking be a Nerfie guy. But I don't play that 1-inning bullshit. That is just me. That's
just an actual analytical point here from sports books angles. So some of you guys, I'm sure, know this, but some of you I know do not know this. The only reason you actually get this bet, no run first inning, is because the highest probability of runs in any inning is the first inning. Top of the lineup, and you get the pitchers coming out of the bullpen cold. It's the only reason you can get this bet because books make so much money on
books
this
love
bet.
to promote a Nerfie. They make their content people promote Nerfies. There's guys that actually sweat Nerfies for a month. There's a reason why Nerfies exist. Is because I believe it's just for the degenerate bettors. That's what it is. It's not for the sharp people. So if you want to go and mess around with the Nerfies, take it. But it ain't for me.
Yeah, as Gunn said, you're playing the slots. I mean, you walk into a casino, what do you see? You see the slots, the big pictures, the noise, the lights. That's what this is. The big pictures, noise, the lights. You got the beautiful cocktail waitress saying, hey, take a Nerfie. Have a cocktail. It's noon. No, we're not taking it. But, guys, best of luck at all your wagers always, and we will keep it moving. Next game on the card, 1:40 in Miami. Royals Marlins, Game 3. Yet another environment finding a team trying to avoid a sweep today. I love these spots. I think this is definitely a KC spot. Chris Bubich, coming off an all-star appearance, is actually very good at National League opponents. He's 3-0 at the National League. This is the first time he's favored. It's incredibly strong. Gunz, I could not look to the Marlins, even though they have been scrappy this year.
I can't. The Marlins are just magical. They're a magical team. and I'm not going to step in front of them with Jansen Junk, but tell you what, I will step in front of the total all day long with these two pitchers because Chris Bubic really has performed well on the road. He's 5-1 straight up in those positions. He's also 3-0 straight up when he is minus money on the road, which you're seeing here. But Jansen Junk has just been a performer for this Miami team, 5-0 straight up and 4-1 to the under this year. And it wasn't because he was a favorite or anything like that. This was all as a dog, and this guy is winning. But the thing that I noticed is this is the lowest total we've seen in Jansen Junk's starts. So knowing that Bubic has really performed well on the road, I think we're going to be seeing a pitcher's duel here in Miami. So if I'm going to be playing this one, I'm going to be looking at the total. So give me the under here with KC and Miami.
Yeah, and just a little more detail on this. KC in the first half trying to avoid a sweep on the road, which of course is a very specific spot. They're not at home. They're in a hotel. They're in a foreign clubhouse, and they've lost 2 or 3 games before the final game. They were actually 4-1 straight up in this spot, which means they have the mental makeup of a playoff team last year who looks at themselves in the face in the clubhouse and says, guys, we're not going down like this. And in terms of the actual series dispersion, this has not been dominant for Miami at all. Friday night, 3-run walk-off home run in extra innings. Yesterday, the game was tight. It was a 2-run double in the bottom of the 8th to get a win. This is so much bigger than just Marlins versus Royals. It's just data dispersion. When one team has won back-to-back coin flips and the other team is now favored with heavier significance, you want to take it. And final point on this, Junk has been great on the road. He's 5-1 in his appearances on the road, 1-3 at home in Miami. This is a great spot for Kansas City today, guys. I might have a multi-unit play on this. That's why you sign up for VIP. We give you the data. We give you the plays. Let's cash this ticket. Keeping it moving here. More games at 1:40. Cluster of games, middle of the afternoon here on this Sunday. A's at Guardians, game 3. Jeffrey Springs at Gavin Williams. Gunz and I were having a nice little conversation before the show about this game. You saw 2 overs in the previous 2 nights, 8-6 on Friday. Slade Ciccone, JP Sears yesterday. Luis Severino with the dub. Couple late runs from the A's to push it over 8-2. I think we find a reversal here. I think this is probably an underlook. Gunz, any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you on this one. I think we talked backstage a little bit, and I was a little hesitant to actually make this an official play, but because of what Gavin Williams' statistics actually show. But if you actually go dig deeper into the box score, it's a very different scenario, and I think Shark will allude to that when he talks about his cap. But I'm just going to talk about Jeff Springs. Jeff Springs has really been the pitcher for the Athletics. He's 5-1 straight up and 5-1 to the under in his last 6. 3 straight unders for the Athletics in Springs road starts too, so he's been an under pitcher. Also, this is the lowest total that Springs has seen since April 15th. So that gives you a high indicator that we're probably going to be looking at a low-scoring affair. And when you look at Gavin Williams, a lot of overs on his side. However, I think this line is more structured to Springs than it is Williams. I think the only way to play this one is to play the under, and you're seeing it here at 8 with a little bit of juice. I think that's the way to play this one. Under the total is the only way I'd go in this game.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a pitcher's duel 100% here. And Jeffrey Springs actually faced the Guardians back at home. Of course, that is not Oakland. That is Sacramento on June the 20th versus Tanner Bybee. He pitched great against this lineup. 7 innings pitched, only 3 hits, 1 earned run. That earned run was a solo home run. So he didn't really flirt with it at all. Barely any base runners. Key point, the line in that game out west was 9.5. Went under, moving all the way down to 8. And you look at Gavin Williams. Gavin Williams is an under pitcher who has hit a cluster of overs. This is where you want to actually buy low on his home environments. Williams is 3-6 versus the home under. But the previous 3 games where he went over, all in extra innings. That is just an insane statistical point for a guy to have 3 straight home overs, all in extras. This game definitely projects to be a reversal from the previous 2 games. Top look in this game, take the under, and we will keep it moving. Next game on the card, Wrigleyville, Chicago. Beautiful Sunday, July the 20th. Big time baseball here. Red Sox 6 games over 500 at the best record in the National League. Cubs 59-39. Garrett Crochet on the bump. One of our guys in the chat said, watch out for Garrett. You are right, sir. I think this is definitely a Boston spot today. Gunz, any thoughts?
Yeah, especially when you see this Boston lineup that has kind of struggled at Wrigley coming off the All-Star break. A team that won 10 straight. Now they've lost 2 straight. I think we're going to be looking at a Boston spot here. Very strong line here with Crochet, and it kind of makes sense. The only way I'd play this one is the Crochet side, and I think it's probably going to be a low-scoring affair. If you know anything about Crochet, when he's been on the bump, the pitcher that he's gone against has kind of performed well, but I think this Boston lineup will finally get the bats going. And when we see Wrigley totals, and we've talked about it on the show before, if it gets to 10 and above, we take overs. If it gets to that 8 and below, we take unders. And I think in this position, we're sitting at an 8. It's going to be a low-scoring affair here. I would probably look at the Red Sox side, and I would look at the total under. The only way I play this game.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is just where we're getting into really good data here. Garrett Crochet is 9-2 straight up on the road. He's also 3-0 Sunday afternoon on the road, which is important. Again, we try to reiterate this every show. It's just like a human life. You know, if you're good at pitching at 7 o'clock on a weekday, oftentimes it doesn't translate to 1 o'clock on a Sunday. So he just performs well early in the day, and he is 2-0 Sunday if the game is at the National League. I think a really, really precise numerical corollary to tonight's game, or I should say this afternoon's game, 1:20 Central Time, at Atlanta, Sunday afternoon, June 1st at Bryce Elder. Bryce Elder and Cade Horton are very similar pitchers. They're both young. They're both right-handers. They both kind of hover in the zone quite a bit. Crochet laid an almost identical opening figure, minus 135 on the road at Atlanta. 3-1 win, 7 innings pitched, only 1 earned run. I had Shota Imanaga yesterday. I love the Cubs yesterday fading Bello. This is a reverse. This is where Crochet pitches absolutely great. And final point on this, Cade Horton, 3 matinees this year at Wrigley, 2 as a favorite. Key point, books liked him significantly. Blowout win against the White Sox. Blowout win against Seattle. So the books got it right. Only time as a home underdog on a matinee against Paul Skeens. Skeens and Crochet are 1-1A in terms of young aces. 2-1 loss versus Pittsburgh Friday afternoon, June the 13th. Red Sox should get the dub today. Also probably an under. I see Red Sox 5-1 or 6-1 in this game. Take the Sox. I said, we're not talking go Cubs go. Go Sox go in Wrigleyville today. Let's cash. Next game on the card, 3:10 in Colorado. Joe Ryan on the bump at Herman Marquez. Twins Rockies game 3. Yet another buy low. Twins come in here trying to avoid a sweep at the worst team in the sport. They have their ace on the mound. The line is high. The total line is high. I see a blowout win from the Twins and probably an over. Gunz, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think David B said it best. This is a twin spot all day long. And I think when we talk about this game, I think it's not just a Twins money line. Obviously, it's heavily juiced in this situation. We're looking at the run line on this one because Joe Ryan is on the bump. Now, Minnesota has underperformed with him in his last 6 starts. I got to admit, 2-4 straight up in his last 6. Which is crazy considering Ryan has really pitched well. He's only given up 4 runs in his last 5 starts. He's done well, and the team has just underperformed with him on the offensive side. But we're facing a Colorado team with Herman Marquez on the mound, right? So, or German Marquez. I don't even know what you call this guy.
Definitely not German. Definitely not German.
Yeah, it's Yerman or something like that, right? So, Colorado, when Marquez is on the mound, absolutely bad when he is the home pitcher. Is 1-6 straight up into the run line in those positions, and you're seeing a very heavy money line here for Minnesota. I think this is a money line spot all day long here for Minnesota. Minnesota will dominate this game versus the Rockies, trying to avoid the sweep for that matter. I mean, getting swept by the Rockies, you might as well pack up and leave the damn season. I'm going to be taking the run line on this one with Minnesota. The only way I'm playing this game.
Yeah, I mean, our guy David says he doesn't like these big spreads. I got to be honest, you guys have tailed my plays all year. A lot of you guys have tailed previous years on different platforms. I do not like laying -1.5 either, but I do think this gets to some margin. Marquez has been terrible at home recently, incredibly inflated. He's just really he's been around for a while. I mean, I believe he's pitched for the Rockies for at least 5 to 7 years, probably most of his career with this team. Of course, the Rockies had some upside there, the bottom out point of a generation this year. It's hard to envision the Twins getting swept here, particularly with their ace on the mound. One corollary spot at Oakland, only time this year that Ryan was facing a real bottom feeder type of team on a high line total. Minnesota did win the game 10-4. It did go over 9.5. If I had to give you guys a free play in this game, I haven't gotten there yet because Marquez is a little sketchy certain times at home in terms of the total. It's definitely an over spot. When you see an opening line of 11 runs for a Joe Ryan game, doesn't matter what stadium you're in. That is incredibly noteworthy. Over is a great look. Gunz likes to run line. Cash both. Let's dominate. Keeping it moving. 4 o'clock in Seattle. 4:10 to be exact. T-Mobile Park. Brian Wu versus Hunter Brown. Divisional matchup here. A lot of interleague and stuff. This is nice to find divisional baseball. This is a tough game. Hunter Brown has looked terrible recently. He was getting absolutely rocked going into the All-Star break. Basically a 9.0 ERA over 2 consecutive starts. At some point, he's going to fix it, but we saw this last year. Brown was poor, and he stayed real poor for about 5 to 6 starts. I think that's why the line is so heavy, shading towards Seattle here at -150 almost in some books. He just seems to be the type of guy. Maybe he's fatiguing. Maybe the league's adjusting to what his pitch sequencing is. I'm not entirely sure. I honestly really don't like the game because I could see either thing going on here. Gunz, any thoughts?
I think the line functionality is kind of what we have to look at in this one, especially with Hunter Brown on the mound. I mean, Hunter Brown, kind of a low, you're looking at low scoring when he's on the mound, 7-1 to the under in his last 8. And we have the lowest total of the year for Brown here at 6.5. I think he's only had 7s before. And in those positions, if you look at the 7s, 6-1 to the under, when the total is 7 or less, it has never been less than 7 when Brown is on the mound. And he's going against Brian Wu. Brian Wu has been very good as a pitcher. Throw the bullpens out the window. As a pitcher, sole by himself in first 5s, he's 7-1 straight up in those situations. He's held the lead in 7 out of his last 8. Total 50-50 with Wu as far as the total, because in Seattle, you see a lot of low totals like 7.5. It's been 7 with Wu before, and it's kind of like 3-3 or something like that, over to under. So I'm not going to be playing the total in this one. I'm going to cut the game in half, and I think Brian Wu in Seattle gets the lead after 5 innings. The only way I'm going to play this one is Seattle money line first 5.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't disagree. This Mariners pitching staff is deep, and they are young. I mean, you talk about a team that has incredible upside going forward, not only this season, but the next 5+ years. Look no further than Seattle. I mean, if Seattle can get the lineup to be a little bit more consistent, this team really has deep postseason pitching quality, and Wu is right there. This was supposed to be Gilbert, Kirby, Miller, a couple others. Wu, honestly, was kind of the last man to the party last year. He's been great. As I said, Hunter Brown has looked terrible. I could only lean towards Seattle. Don't love the game, however. Next game on the card, 4:10 here in Los Angeles. Brewers Dodgers game 3. Quintana at Kershaw. Really interesting stuff here. The Brewers have won 9 consecutive games. The Brewers currently have a better overall record than the Dodgers, and the Brewers have beaten the Dodgers all 5 games this year, this being the final matchup. This reminds me of an NBA playoff series. The best team in the sport, the champions, are they going to get swept 6-0 versus Milwaukee this year? Kershaw has been a generational ace. Quintana has looked solid this year. In my opinion, this is bigger than just baseball. This is almost an auto bet on the Dodgers today. Gunz, any thoughts?
No, it's not an auto bet on the Dodgers. They're 1-10 versus the NL Central. And I tell Shark this all the time. Don't step in front of streaks. This is a streak. The Dodgers cannot figure out the NL Central. I don't know what's wrong with them, especially in their last 11 games. While I do agree from a line structure standpoint, it does make sense that it would be a Dodger spot because when Kershaw is on the bump, the Dodgers are 6-1 in his last 7 starts. Kershaw did face the Milwaukee on the road at a -104 structure, lost that game. Now you're seeing him here as a heavy favorite, and Quintana, seeing this line, seeing him as a dog, and people like, no, this isn't a Quintana spot. However, he's 5-1 straight up, and he's 5-1 to the under when he's a dog in his last 6. So Am I going to step in front of this game? No, I'm going to watch this game because I had a max bet yesterday on Milwaukee money line as a dog yesterday with Peralta on the mound. I'm not going to be stepping in front of this game. If you want to go bet it, go bet it. Not for me.
Yeah, as I said, and you guys know I don't just squarely buy streaks and fade streaks. Gunz and I were talking about this. Baseball is really such a unique sport because there's a 162. So streaks are a totally different category in this sport. Any other sport, you saw a 9-game losing streak, you would have a totally different conversation. 9-game winning streak, I should say. But I think this is actually where you do want to buy Kershaw. Kershaw is actually 4-1 at home, 4-0 last 4. Didn't look good in his first start coming off the injured list against the Angels months ago. Only 10 earned runs overall, last 35 innings pitched. So he has found something. I know people were saying he didn't deserve to be an all-star. That was kind of like a lifetime achievement nomination. Like they just wanted him there. He brings good publicity, whatever. But he has looked good last 35 innings pitched. Key point in terms of the Dodgers lineup, you saw them lose last night. They put up 7 runs on Freddie Peralta. This lineup is absolutely stacked. And they are actually giving Kershaw uncanny, consistent run support at home. 7.4 runs per game in run support for Kershaw at home. Quintana just beat the Dodgers and Glasnow in Milwaukee. It was in extra innings. The Dodgers blew the save in the bottom of the 9th. As I said, the Dodgers have gotten swept to this point by Milwaukee this year. It's all over the Dodgers. It really is a top look. Take the Dodgers and let's cash. And I will say this. Have we gotten to a point in Major League Baseball where a guy in the chat says, no way in hell I put coin on the Dodgers?
Yeah.
Are we in a dystopian environment here? This is the best team in the sport. No shot. Who are we betting? Rockies, White Sox, and Pirates?
We're going to take Colorado money line today. It is absolutely crazy with the Dodgers right now. But like I said, sometimes I'm very strong bear buy when teams are on a losing streak in football. Baseball is a different animal. Sometimes teams just can't figure it out when you have to go day to day. And while this is a strong Dodger line and they should be able to figure it out with as much stars as they have, I ain't stepping in front of a streak. I'm just going to let this one pass. Let's go to the next game, Shark.
Yeah, just one final point on this. We're talking about this with some of these other streaks, like the Kansas City spot in Miami, where they basically lost 2 straight coin flips. The game last night was very tight. As I said, they blew the save against Quintana in Milwaukee. The game on Friday night, 2-0. Quinn Priester, best start of his career, 10 Ks. It's also just data. These games have been close. The Dodgers are due for an uptick. Really checks all the boxes. Take the Dodgers and let's cash. Next game on the card, 4:10 in Arizona. Diamondbacks, Cardinals, game 3. Miles Michaelis. Michaelis.
Say it right.
Mike the Michaelis at Merrill Kelly. A lot of stuff going on here. I would lean towards the Diamondbacks. Strong line, strong number, veteran pitcher. Gunz, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is a more of an Arizona spot, but I'm willing to split it in half and not let the bullpens mess it up for me because you look at Michaelis, he's 2-4 in his last 6 starts. Good road pitcher, though, however, 5-2 straight up in his road starts, and they were all as a dog. He's sitting as a dog here. Michaelis did face this Arizona lineup back on May 23rd, plus 102 line structure. Total was 8 in that game, went under. Then you got to look at Merrill Kelly. Arizona really hasn't performed for him in his last 6 starts, 2-4 straight up in those positions, but he's 2-1 straight up versus the NL Central. Kelly did face St. Louis back on the road back on May 24th, plus 106 line structure, and the total was 7.5. That went over. But you look at Kelly versus the NL Central, he's only given up 1 run after 5 innings in all those positions. So I think this is going to be more of a stronger take here for Merrill Kelly, but I don't want to take him on the full game on this one. I think we're going to just play pitcher versus pitcher. Michaelis versus Kelly. I'll take Kelly all day long. Give me Arizona money line, first 5 as the play.
Yeah, I completely align. And our guy Suarez says D-backs are back. I mean, you got to remember this is a team that went to the World Series 2 years ago. You talk about the actual data in team versus team matchup here. It does favor Arizona in terms of run differential. The Cardinals are sitting 3 games over 500, 51-48. Only a +4 run differential, 6 games under 500 on the road. So this is a home team, not a road team. Arizona is actually one game under 500, 49-50, plus 18 run differential. So worse record, better run differential, and better at home. And just one final point. Obviously, Gunz mentioned both of these teams have faced these pitchers earlier this year, with both of the lines moving heavily towards Merrill Kelly. Kelly is really spot specific at home this year. Uncannily, he's 0-4 if facing an NL East opponent at home. Makes no sense. Losses against Atlanta, Mets, Washington, and Miami. He's 1-2 at home in the division, but 3-0 versus all other divisions, AL and NL Central. And final point, NL Central opponent, Friday, 3/28. It was his first start of the year against the Cubs. Same line structure. He was opening at -130, steamed up to -150, which is identical to this. Same total as well, 8.5. Completely identical grading against Jamison Tyone and the Cubs. Tyone and Michaelis are basically the same pitcher, in my opinion. They're older, they're journeymen, they're right-handers, they don't overpower. This is going to be a very similar game. The Diamondbacks won that game 8-1. Gunz, further comments?
No, I just got to do a take because I had to go look at the money line in this one because I noticed that the Arizona line was increased. And by the way, this is the heaviest juice line for Arizona in the series. I think they were a dog in both positions, if I remember correctly, in the first two. Now we're seeing at -156. And when you look at the first five, it's up to -174. So I'm going to scratch money line on this one. I'm going to take it on the run line because I do believe this Arizona team will have the lead after 5 innings. And if you believe that, you might as well just kill the juice on the money line, take it at -0.5 a run to get a better value.
Yeah, without question. It's all over the Diamondbacks. Take the Diamondbacks and let's cash. Final game on the card, 7 o'clock, late night game here. I can't call it that late. It's only 4 o'clock Pacific, but Rangers-Tigers game 3. Talk about streaks. Tigers have lost 6 games in a row. I do think they were supposed to give some back. They were way too hot. They were way above their projection. So this does make sense. I've faded them correctly the last 2 nights in VIP. We had Kumar Rocker, and we had the game on Friday night as well. This has to flip at some point. Tarek Skubal on the bump tonight. Heavy line. You guys know I don't love laying 210 or 220, but the Tigers got to get this one. Gunz, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Scuba's kind of been in this weird regression as of late, but he got the All-Star break and now he's coming back. We may see a little bit of a different element here with Scuba because if what we've seen from him in prime type of situations, he's been very good. And I kind of correlate everything to 2 things when I look at Scuba games. Is the juice -200 or more? Which would lead you to believe that it's going to be full domination from Skubal. And what is the total? The total here is sitting at 7, which would give you an indicator that we're probably going to be looking at a low-scoring affair. Jake Latz is on the mound for Texas. Not a lot of data on him, and it was more of I think it's strategic here for the Rangers, knowing that you're going against Detroit's better pitcher, and you don't want to use one of your better pitchers to go and try to go compete with Skubal. I think Skubal is probably going to dominate this game in prime time. It's probably going to be something like 3-0, 4-0, or something like that. That's my speculation. But I think if there's going to way to take this, it's the under. Not official for me. This is probably a game that will not make my card. I'm probably going to focus a little bit more on the afternoon games and just let this one pass.
Yeah, I would agree. I was having the same thoughts when you just said that. This is really just like a punt spot for the Rangers. Like, they don't want to waste Eovaldi. Throw this guy Latch, just take a loss, and then Eovaldi comes back tomorrow night with a win. Gunz and I aligning on that thought 100%. You can't take the Rangers here, but at the same time, laying 2-1 is never pretty. So best of luck in that game, guys. And we have best bets on a Sunday. Sundays are for the Sharps. The gun in the building. Top plays, best bets.
Yeah, I like there's 2 plays I like in their first 5 plays, right? I love Seattle here at first 5 versus Hunter Brown. I may be walking into a ring of fire going against Hunter Brown, Cy Young candidate and stuff like that, but seeing him as a dog, kind of a very alarming situation there. And I think with Brian Wu on the mound, he will get it done. I love the first 5 on this one. And of course, like I said, on the previous game with Arizona. I did want to say money line on the first 5. However, it's too heavily juiced. Let's just take the run line on that one. I think Merrill Kelly on the mound at home versus Miles Michaelis. Arizona will have the lead after 5 innings.
Yeah, my top free play on today's card, take the LA Angels plus 1.5 at -137. I think they could get a dub here. As I said when I capped this game, Suarez off a break has been ineffective. He's been poor on Sunday. He's been poor on this line structure. And Jose Soriano is a road pitcher. Take the Angels and let's cash. Let's get a good parlay going here, guys. We can probably get one for the people. We got a lot of data. We're going to hit one eventually. I've hit like 70%, like 4 or 5 in a row.
I think this show is, I wish we would track every single lean take or what we have, because I know we talk about it off the show. We're like 70%, 60%, like every single time. So hopefully you guys are cashing tickets on the stuff that we're talking about. Yeah, let's build a parlay.
All right, give me a few and I'll just keep it
All
flowing.
right, we're going to put Minnesota on there. Minnesota is not going to get swept by the Colorado Rockies. By God, if they do, stop. Just quit. Go face college World Series teams or something like that. You're finished. We're gonna, you know what? You can go put your Dodgers on there. Let's play with fire.
Love it.
We're gonna take Arizona too. I love those 3 as the teams that I believe are just gonna come out there and thump.
Okay. Let me get the lines here. A couple more points on some of these games, which we do discuss frequently on this show. But in terms of the way the money line correlates to the run line for the road team, a couple of these spots we suggested today have really strong run lines. For example, the Red Sox are -142 for the game now, getting steamed up. They are laying -1.5 here on the road at +130. Same exact story with the Padres and also the Royals. The Royals are -126 for the game. They're laying -1.5 at +138. What that's telling you, and the last one on that conversation is actually the San Francisco Giants are -108. They're actually an underdog for the game, but they're laying -1.5. That is incredibly strong for the Giants. So the Giants, Padres, Royals, and Red Sox are incredibly strong today, just from that perspective. I think we got to put the Giants on here at 12 o'clock. Actually, that's probably too late. People will miss that. We'll skip that,
late. Yeah, we're looking at 11:52.
I was going to say, just an accentuating point from our original conversation. That makes me really like Robbie Ray on the road a lot more. And I think Barrios could struggle at this early time. So I think the Giants might have some access if you guys want to just mess with that real quick here before the game goes off. Let's roll with Boston -142. As I said, Royals -126. Let's go with the what else do we have here?
Strong. I mean, this line just getting stronger for Seattle on the full game. It's at -142 right now with Hunter Brown on the mound. That's crazy.
I think Hunter Brown, it's like I said, when he starts to go bad, he continues to go bad for a little while.
Like milk, as they say.
He's not a zigzag. Yeah, he's not a zigzag. And he looked awful going into the break, like really bad. And as I said, last year he had a cluster of maybe it was like a month and a half where he just really couldn't figure it out. Also could be arm fatigue mid-season, a lot of stuff going on there. All right, we'll go with Seattle on the money line here. I got -144. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you want to roll with the under in that Pirates game?
Yes.
Okay, under 9. And let's go with the under in the Oakland game.
Sounds good. I like it.
Okay, that's an 8-leg parlay. I just typed it in. Guys, want to put that on the screen there?
See you later.
All right, Sunday parlay 7/20/2025. Minnesota money line, Dodgers money line, Diamondbacks money line, Red Sox money line, Royals money line, Mariners money line, White Sox Pittsburgh under 9, Oakland Cleveland under 8. That's 8 legs. If anybody has that, put it into your whatever book you're on right now and give us a price, and we will flash that. Our guy H-Town says 6-leg parlay plus 3140. This is 8. This probably pays pretty, I would say, even higher than 3140. See if anybody puts that in real quick. And 8 legs is sketchy. Well, I'll say this. All parlays are sketchy.
Yeah, there's no parlay that you're just like, even if you put just 3 teams on there, it's always sketchy. I mean, we're putting this up for fun for everybody else. We're straight bettors like through and through. I don't think I've made a parlay bet in 3 years. So that's kind of my mentality. But if you guys like parlays, you want to throw a little coffee money on that one, this is solid. Not to say it's going to hit. But
and also, again, this is supposed to be pizza money, guys. This is not like a full unit play by any stretch. Sure. And even just one more point on parlays, like even money line parlays with 2 teams. When you see 2 teams that are favored like -170, and you pair them together, and it's actually plus odds for both of them to win, that's telling you the flaw in the parlay. They're telling you one of these teams is probably going to lose. The probability of one of them losing is actually higher than both winning, which is nuts. So just keep that in mind, and we're always having fun on this show, MLB Player Performance. Appreciate you guys in the chats. Almost high noon Eastern on this Sunday. Gunz, give them some words, and I'll close it out.
Yeah, go check us out on Telegram. Why Lose Gunz, Why Lose Shark. Follow us with all the deals that we're going to be having. I already put my early bird special out there for football. I think most of you guys know. I said it yesterday on the show, NFL and college. If you want to get the elite package, it's 50% off right now up to week 0. I've already got my plays ready for week 0 and week 1. And I haven't fired them yet because I want people to get in on the early package and we can dominate football. Also, go check out all the content on the J.A. Cavalier channel. Hit the like button on this video if you're supporting us. And that's all I got to say. Let's cash some tickets. Let's dominate the board. And as always, let's keep dancing.
No doubt. 57 minutes in the books. MLB Player Performance, the morning show on this Sunday. First one of the second half, July the 20th, 2025. We appreciate you guys in the chat. Have a great day. I will have my VIP card up very shortly. The best of times await us in this year, 2025, and going forward. For J.A. Cavalier cashing tickets around the world, the prop master Luke Shuey and Coach Rick. He is the gun. I am the shark. Stay fast, stay strong, stay disciplined, and let's dominate.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing. Don't give a fuck if I can't.